G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, a special thanks to WS for pointing me to this easy debunk. Well, how easy? Well, it was actually super easy, barely an inconvenience.
This mount works so well that it's used by astrophotographers. The reason is because it corrects for field rotation, which is a huge benefit because field rotation will ruin any long exposure shot. And while the concept of such a mount is simple, it still delivers a fatal blow to the flat Earth conspiracy. First, let's imagine we're going on a road trip. This road trip will have the following stops. Again, we want to document the angle the EQ axis has to be at in order to be aligned with the North Celestial Pole.
I've got a funny suspicion he's not actually plotted it correctly onto his graph. Well, anyway, I went and placed it on the protractor, just showing the right same point to make sure it's all working with the actual angles, and it's set out, and now I've actually went and plotted it on the graph with those angles, and what do you know, they all align up to 1 point.
So I plotted the data for myself. I took Red's measured angles and the latitudes of the places where he took the measurements. Well, I certainly didn't get a single point, but then again neither did Flatzoid. He simply rubbed out what didn't suit. Another dirty cherry picker of the level Earth observer level of dishonesty.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on.
I see that Red's was right. They do not match each other at all.
No contradiction. Maybe this graph doesn't make sense, but wouldn't they be looking to the left where I've put those arrows pointing, because that's where Polaris would be?
I was just noticing, as Flatzoid tried to point out that Reds didn't even point to Polaris above the North Pole, but Flatzoid, how about your own standard?
Something just doesn't look right here.
So Flatzoid, none of the points that you even think are all 1 point, none of these are above the North Pole. So what's that all about?
Something just doesn't look right here.
In fact, this is what we would expect to see when focused on the pole star Polaris, which is very, very, very far away.
Oh, Red's actually is, because Polaris is far, 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 far away. Sorry, Reds, I had to correct you. You only had 3, and we know you need at least 4 for Polaris.
Something just doesn't look right here.
We watched as an EQ mount was able to track a celestial object perfectly, giving us the stacked image by rotating only one axis. Now, would this be possible on a flat Earth?
Well, Red's asked, as Wolfie often asks, does the EQ mount work on a flat Earth? Flatzoid goes with the best flatties can ever come up with to answer this. It does because it works in reality. Whoa, hold on there, Flatzoid. Isn't that a circular reference? Thanks, Good Bob.
There you have it. The flat Earth model requires the movement of 2 axes, while reality only requires the movement of 1.
You see how it works is you follow one path around your ball, you follow one path around the Earth. Just because you have a field of view that's very limited, it still takes the same time. See, you in your personal bubble, you only see it look like it's going around a sphere, but in fact it's still just going around a flat plane. So there's no difference, it's still just one rotation of axis. It looks like it's going underneath, but it's just going away. So thus, it's going exactly the same time, you're just viewing it in a different axis of rotation. Where we view the star moving and you assuming we are moving. So, one axis.
Whoa, word salad much. Look, I'm not even going to try and understand that lot. I value my brain cells. It's simple really. On a globe model, the movement of the sun and the stars on a daily basis is due to the rotation of the Earth around the single axis of rotation from pole to pole. So naturally, only a single axis of rotation on a tracker is all that's needed to counteract it.
Something just doesn't look right here.
Meanwhile, on your imaginary stationary pancake pizza world that even you don't seem to understand, the movement of the sun or the stars are in circles, and a circle is a 2-dimensional path So naturally you need 2 dimensionals of movement to follow it. It's that easy. Case closed.
Something just doesn't look right here.
Well, thanks Red, you really got this guy going, didn't you?
And now I've actually went and plotted it on the graph with those angles, and what do you know? They all align up to 1 point. They all align up to